Food, you eat rice for every meal. You have rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Unless you're like me and you decide you're going to go buy oatmeal and not eat rice for breakfast because it's just weird. That kind of changed towards the end of my mission. I really started to like rice on everything. Then you have this thing called ulam, which just means stuff that you put on rice. That's all it is. I mean, it can be eggs, it can be chicken, it can be vegetables, it can be fish. And it was all, at the beginning it was all weird. At the end it all tasted great, and I miss it. I learned to cook a few things, but they just don't have exactly the same herbs and spices and everything here in the States, so it's a little harder to cook foods like I had there. I remember the first meal I had in my apartment was actually rice with an omelet that my trainer had cooked. And I didn't realize it at the time, but he loaded it with a MSG, which it turns out all the food there is loaded with MSG, which kind of surprised me. But I mean, I guess it makes things taste good and it's cheap, so it makes sense over there. Maybe the weirdest food that I ever ate was a thing called bagoong. It's basically, they take shrimp and they grind them up and they put a lot of salt in it. And that's bagoong. And you're supposed to eat it like on mangoes because it helps balance out the bitterness of the bagoong with the sweetness of the mango. I had that my first transfer at the house of a member, and I should have known because they were all watching me for my reaction that it would be interesting. It was probably the most bitter thing I'd ever tasted. I got to like it a little bit better later, especially when it was mixed in with other flavors, but that is the thing, I guess, about the culture there, is that they always want to feed you. It's like a thing that you do with strangers that you let into your home. You let them in and then you're supposed to give them something. It's just hospitality. That's something the Filipinos are really good at. It's being hospitable. Soda there is safer than water. So I had a lot of soda when I was there. It's this thing called RC that they have here, but it's not the same. And I think that was what I had most often.